Okay.
We are
Tom?
Here.
Jason?
here.
Sherry? Chris?
Here.
Annette?
Here.
Barb? Here. Bernie?
Excused.
Thank you. Linda?
Here.
Dave?
Here.
Devin? Devon?
On his way.
Devin.
He'll be here.
Okay. Tandra?
Here.
Larry? Sean?
Here.
Looking over February's minutes. There's a lot of them. Any corrections, deletions? If not, need a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve.
First by Sean, need a second.
Second.
Second by Beth, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Guest?
Guest is Tim.
Aaron staff.
Okay.
Aaron who?
Aaron Blair, A-R-I-N, Blair, B-L-A-I-R.
All right. Jason, moving on to old business.
We have an update from Aaron and Chris regarding the Action Sports Park. Giving everyone an update on the park formerly known as the skate park.
Okay.
Thanks, Jason. Hi, I'm Erin Blair, Chief Planner with the city, and working closely with Chris and Jason and others on this project. So we want to just give you a little project update today. You might have heard in the city manager's report on March 27th, we announced that we'd be taking a design build for this project to City Commission. We learned because we put that out that we actually can't do that. We need to do a competitive bidding process that follows the federal competitive bidding requirements in order to finish this design and construct the skate park, because the stimulus funding has specific requirements. So that was just kind of wires crossed and not realizing that we couldn't follow the process we thought we were going to be able to, which is a contracting with Sourcewell, which is a Ohio competitive bid process. So we're right now in kind of a gap just figuring out what our next steps are, but I wanted to give you an update because we have a lot of eyes on this project. We have a really engaged community, which is awesome. I'd much rather work with a community who's paying attention and asking a lot of questions than not. So we are in the 50% design contract, as I talked with you before a couple months ago. We have built this web page on our website. You can find it on the planning homepage, as well as if you type in cityofsandusky.com/wheelspark. And this gives you a timeline starting at the beginning of the process, where we started off in September with our current consultant team led by OHM Advisors and Spawn Ranch, the skate park and all wheels park designer. Next, in November, we put out a call for a public meeting. We had about 35 people. I think I talked to you right after that meeting. We had really great responses and lots of good engagement. There was a survey sent out to help kind of get an understanding of what types of features everyone wants to see. So there's a lot of really technical aspects to this sort of design. There's specific kinds of transition. There's street versus jumps and bowls, and the designers really in the community were all talking this language, and I'm just starting to learn a little bit of it. And we got great responses from that helped us bring a draft concept in February. So if you get to this, you can click on the meeting presentation to see the community engagement survey results from the November meeting. And so kind of who answered the question, what those big results were, and how they drove the first concept. So there's a first concept for the wheels park design, and there's two concepts in there for the overall landscape architecture design. We sort of loved them both and are calling them phase one, phase two. Phase one we have the money for, phase two we don't have the money for. Phase two is, I'm sure Jason will kind of keep you up to base on that, is the idea of removing the current access road and developing a way to get to the current parking lot from Washington Street. And that could be part of a larger project. Maybe we're thinking about the Washington Street Pier. We're thinking about the fishing community that accesses that, and the Sandusky Bay Pathway and how that all works. So the way we're working with the Wheels Park is to make sure we don't get in the way of that future idea, but we get a really great value out of the project that we're going to do with the money we have for this project. After the February 2023 meeting, we had that on Zoom. We also filed another survey to get even more detailed feedback on not only yes, we're going to have a bowl, but how deep should the bowl be? That's sort of like getting even another layer of technical feedback from the community. And what we have now is concept renderings, and we're close to the 50% design. So we're close to the end of this contract. It's not quite there. It'll go through one kind of final tweak of revisions, and then we'll have the product of the 50% design process. It's important to note that we have another 50% of design to go, so there's more revision that will happen with this. If you want to review this concept, if you click on this image, you'll get to a number of renderings and the site plan to show the different components of how this all-wheels park is proposed to function and some of the kind of artistic elements. This is where we get the proposed updated name of Sandusky Wheels Park, which I'm told is kind of more of a modern way of referring to them rather than it being a skate park or a BMX park, but it just being an all-wheels park. So there's just a little bit of personality in these of thinking about bringing some concepts of the water and sailboating into the design. There's 3 different shade sculpture or shade areas and places to congregate. There's a beginner's area. There's a kind of flow area, which is open to all wheels. There's a central jump line area, which is a little bit leaning more towards BMX, but also the bowl and all the other features are all wheels, and the pump track too. And so you see with this in the drawing, the designer's not putting in that access road that exists today, but we do expect that to stay in this phase of the project. But like I said, we're just making sure this design doesn't get in the way of removing that later. We'd love to give that green space back to this park and keep the access a little further off the water. So you can peruse those at your leisure. And there's also a YouTube video, which is about 10 minutes of the designer proposing and explaining each of the features in this. So I recommend taking a look at that. Actually, the survey link is no longer there. I think I got that. There we go. And so this is not complete. Like I said, we are close to the 50% design. What we're working on right now is making sure we have a clear understanding of what the bidding process will look like so we can get to finishing this design and construction. And we're going to have another community meeting, so an in-person meeting, hopefully on site since now the weather is getting better, with the community to finish out this portion. So this is not complete yet. We're going to have an in-person meeting, and I haven't scheduled that yet, despite getting probably 100 emails of the skaters and BMXers like, when are we meeting? I'm like, we're going to meet, I promise. It's because I want to make sure I have clear next steps for them and all the information there and the answers to their questions before we sit down and talk. So we're expecting early May. It's potentially early May, potentially early June, because our designer is also on paternity leave. He just had a new baby, and we're trying to respect his family as well. So any questions you have? That's just a super high level update, but happy to answer any questions that come up for you.
What's the target completion date?
Originally, when we started off, our target was 2023 completion. We're going to get into a decision point once we know how long the bidding will take, because it's very important not to pour the concrete right before it gets cold, and which I think is like October 1, so they're not going to want to do anything past that. So it might end up being that we do some demo in the fall and finish it in the spring or something like that. So as soon as possible, and I'll know more once we really understand that process.
Okay.
Tim had a question back there.
Yeah, Aaron, can you back up a little bit to the, I don't want to call it a conflict, I'm not going to call it that, but the parking area, and then you were talking about that trail that goes back to the parking area. What was that comment that you made up on how that's going to be impacted?
I think he's talking about the access road. That what you're talking about, Tim?
Yeah, the access road, right.
Okay, so the question, as I understand it, is to explain the access a little bit better, and I'm going to use Google for that. So right now, when you come into this park, you are there's a lot of people that come in this way and park it's just north of the Justice Center, and there's a lot of folks that park along this edge, which is right behind the Justice Center to the east. This is going to be fenced off as part of the Justice Center project, so that this parking won't be available to park users now. But this parking that's west will continue to be available, public parking. And that's why there's kind of a little entrance here, you'll see in the renderings, of assuming that folks will still continue to use this. There's also, you'll notice, a new sidewalk that helps with connectivity for folks that are riding a skateboard or a bicycle or walking to the park to get to it. And there's the shade sculpture here, and about here that are proposed in the design. The way that you get to this parking lot existing today is to come up this way along the water. And what the concepts are shown, and if you look at those two presentations, you'll see, especially in that presentation number 1 from February, you'll see that the idea, assuming we get funding to do it in the future, is to improve Washington Street to come along this edge next to the pathway and around into this parking lot. And that would create kind of a loop access to be able to get into this parking lot and ability to demolish this entrance and take over that for green space instead of vehicle access. So the access, this parking lot would remain, but the access would come in from Washington Street and around. And that's something that we'll continue to look into funding opportunities to be able to do, because we think it's a good
You can still
idea.
get back to the pier?
Oh, absolutely, yes. Yeah, the idea would be, it'd be better for everybody using the pier too, not only the Wheels Park users, but the users of the pier as well.
Is the tennis court being improved? Sorry. Is tennis court being improved?
The tennis court is not part of this project.
Yeah, tennis courts are going with the roofs. Right?
The tennis courts are in the Battery Park footprint. So we are working on location to build new tennis courts in the future, on that site.
Sorry.
You're okay.
Thanks, Aaron, appreciate it.
All right, anything else for Aaron?
Thanks, Aaron.
Thank you, Aaron.
Thanks for all your time.
Thank you. Moving on, Midtown Supper Club. Sandra?
Yeah, so we had a very, very successful Midtown Supper Club Meets New Orleans event. And we actually, for the first time, invited the youth back that were the chefs in training to come back and meet with the chefs for some follow-up. How did they think it went? And some open dialogue with the chefs and the kids for the after event. And it was pretty interesting. Their little eyes and what they see and their takeaway, but it was a good addition to the program to follow up with that. We'll do that every year, and so we're working on Midtown Supper Club Season 6 coming soon. But pretty much we did really well. It was a great event. Everybody loved it, and looking forward to keep it themed. Like
What's
that.
the theme for next year?
Not sure yet. Gotta hit me.
To be determined.
Yes,
To be determined.
that's it.
All right. Chris, Ambits?
All right, updates on the Ambitsboro baseball fields. So if you haven't been down there, please take a ride down there. But the two new fields are going up behind the current Ambit fields along the fence line for the wastewater treatment plant. And the backstops, the canopy and fence are scheduled to all be completed by the end of next week. And then we'll add additional infield and sand mix to the infields, and that is scheduled next week as well, with the intent of having it ready to go for the AMVET Little League season. And then we will add some topsoil and then put grass seed in the roadway or path that went through from Peerless over to the actual AMVET's club. That's going to be blocked off. We will keep enough room there for the semis to turn around for deliveries at Peerless, but it will be blocked off so motorists can't access that area in between. We added some topsoil. We're going to add some more and then put grass seed in there. And then we're building and have ordered and will build a new playground structure in front of Peerless Stove, and that's in your packet that you received today. That's kind of a diagram of where it'll sit. And then we will take the fence line out between Sproul Park and Peerless so that the participants that are playing on the fields at Sproul, or both that north and south field, will have access directly to the playground structure and not have to go around the fence line there. The playground is scheduled to be delivered the third or fourth week of June, with install scheduled hopefully that first week of July. Any questions or concerns about the ball fields? Yes.
Question. The buildings are, I went down there 2 days ago, and the buildings look like they could use some paint or touched up. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Waddington. So there is a plan to refurbish the score box at the Ambets Field this year.
Okay.
That needs quite a bit of work, not only on the outside structurally, but on the inside as well, with electrical, plumbing, et cetera.
And then what about the Sproul Park area where the Adam Lee's little guys play over there?
So they do not use the concession stand that's there right as you go into the entrance of Sproul Park. And then the score box, that score box will be coming down. It's beyond repair.
Yeah, okay, I looked at it, it looked bad. Okay.
All right, anything else for Chris? Annette?
So Mills Creek is open for business. We actually opened on April 3rd. Opening day, our revenue was $4,133.50 just for opening day. Thus far, actually, I took this from noon today, but I'm telling you it's more than this. We're at about 14,000 for the month of April. We've sold 79 passes. And there are a couple things that I've been working on. Obviously, we know we received the grant for our cart path. As soon as we can get enough dry weather to get stability, to get equipment on there, we will have the cart path installed. It may constitute having to close part of the course for a day or whatever, but we want to get it in because obviously we have that money from ODNR. So the cart path is, stay tuned. As soon as we get the as soon as we get the dry weather and the course is firm enough, we'll go ahead and get the cart path cut in for that. We've had a couple issues there. With the one heavy storm, the creek bed has sustained some erosion problems, mainly on over by hole number 8. I've been in contact with Josh Schneider, our engineer here, Eric Sippel, Lorraine County's engineer, and I have scheduled a meeting with Bree Homan from Erie Water and Soil to create a plan for some restoration of the creek bed. We know that we have a lot of downed trees that we have to get out of there. Obviously, we have to wait for the levels to get low enough that we can get in there and get those cleaned out. But we're possibly looking, we're going to have to rebuild some of the beds, especially focusing over by the green on 8 and the tee box on 8. There's a possibility we may have to do some widening of the creek in some areas because where we have by the one island, where it falls, it goes into a rapid. It did some severe erosion over there. So stay tuned to that. We have contacted, like I said, we've worked with Erie County, and they're willing to help with equipment if we have time. So we're just trying to wait so that we can get some equipment on the course. We need to remove some of the stones that have been pushed back into the creek. So once we get that done, then we can take a look at what some of our long-term plans are going to be for the creek restoration. Also, we did have some damage to the clubhouse that was sustained with the winds on Monday?
No,
It was on the
Saturday.
weekend,
Was it?
Saturday.
Saturday?
Every day.
Yeah.
Saturday.
So we had some damage to the clubhouse. It's right in the front between where we park the golf course carts in the barn closest to the clubhouse and the screened-in porch area. It took all the siding off and it exposed an area where we had a lot of rot. And a huge wasp nest was in there, so that was not a good thing. Chris has been working on that. We finally did secure our third quote today. We're going to take a look at the 3 quotes that we received. A couple of them have been concerned about the header above the sliding glass doors. So we're going to explore that as well. So stay tuned. Another thing that I want to bring to Rec Board is I was able to meet with an individual who came into the clubhouse last year, and they were talking about possibly doing a partnership for doing online tea times. It's with Sports Next, it's CBS Sports Next, where what they basically do is they go ahead and create an online tea time system. We would link it to our Facebook page, or our web page, and what we would do is there is no exchange of any funds with this. We would barter 1 round of golf a week on a time where we don't have, it's not as busy, where we could give 1, and then basically what they do is they attempt to sell that, and then they keep the funds for that. I have the proposal, I can forward to everybody for you to take a look at. I just wanted to see if this is something that you would like me to pursue, and then I would get with Michelle and see if I need to go to commission. But online, I will tell you, when we started taking tea times in the last couple of years, you would be amazed at the people who call in. We're finding now they're looking for them online, and they'll instant message us on Facebook to see if we can take it. Not always are we always on the Facebook page, looking at it. So it may be something that may be advantageous for us to look into. Like I said, I just wanted to hear your guys' feedback so that I know how to proceed.
I would say email it to us.
I'll email you the proposal, and we can talk about it the next one, that's fine.
All right. Anything
I have one other thing to talk about. It's that time again. We'll go ahead and start the Hall of Fame nominations for that. We typically have done the Hall of Fame inductions the 3rd week in May on that Sunday. So we will, and typically we have taken Hall of Fame nominations from basically this week, end of this week, all the way through May 1, to see if we have anybody that we have any candidates to be inducted into Hall of Fame. And that's what I got for the golf course. Any questions?
Nope. Anything else on our old business? Let's move into new business.
So some of the things that are in new business were actually scheduled to happen after our previous meeting that didn't happen, so they're follow-ups to what did happen since that meeting. So Youth Summit would be, Tandra can follow up on.
Yep. So the Youth Summit we held at Mills, and we invited probably over 50 organizations that were either youth or family friendly. We ended up with, I believe, 22 organizations that came in with like 24 attendees. We provided a lunch for them, but each organization had a moment to stand up in front of the group and share a little bit about what they do, what population they served, hours of operation, where they're located, do they have transportation. Mr. Stacy from City came and shared about the transit, and there was a lot of questions, a lot of good info. There was definitely new collaborations were made, a lot of things that everyone just didn't know about. So there is a ton of stuff to do for kids and families. We are collectively trying to think of how to get that information out to people because it is a lot. Like it would be very difficult from what I heard, and Linda, you can testify to that. Like if you had a child, with all the things we heard at the Youth Summit, it's hard to pick. Like it would be hard to pick what you would want your child to do because it was a lot.
A lot.
A lot.
It surprised me
Yeah, I know.
how much.
So that was good. We'll do another one of those in the fall, just to get, and this was for the spring, so we can find out what their spring and summer plans would be. And we'll do another one in the fall for the fall and winter plans, but it'd be nice if we could just add to that number. I'm hoping that we will. So, I think that's it.
I have a question.
Yes.
So and obviously, that's a great number of agencies who came together that day. Is the plan like, whether it's a link to their site or their information, I mean, like, because obviously, like, you know, I'm just Joe average parent, I don't know all the agencies that were there. How might I access some of that stuff, Tandra?
Well, I guess we're going to try to put together a list of all the attendees and their contact information, maybe get that out in some kind of way electronically.
Yeah, have a Dropbox and a PDF of what they presented.
Yeah, just something that, and even a 3 or 4 word blurb, maybe of what they, kind of like what their specialty is,
Yeah.
and a link to their website or information. So I think people would find that really, really helpful because it sounds like you got a lot of great agencies there.
Yeah.
But the fact they knew each other is one thing, but to get their central
Well,
way
not
to
only
pass
did
it
know
out.
each other too, so
No, they
that's the
didn't.
thing.
No, it is,
So
right.
that
And
was-
duplication of services and times and dates and all that is really good to help them be organized. So it's a great thing, but I like the idea of putting together a nice list where
Yep.
the people would go through your all's webpage, because again, we want them coming through your social media to get to these other sites.
Yes, that's some of the best part of the youth summit is afterwards when everyone's like meeting up in different spots and
Yeah.
exchanging cards and doing all
Right,
and all that.
right.
Yeah.
What was the age group?
The age, well, these weren't kids, they were adults, but
Just the
they
adults.
served the population of kindergarten to seniors.
17, 18.
Yeah, yeah, K through 12.
Cool.
Chris, you're up next with a recreation center update.
Thank you, Jason. As you may or may not know, City Commission passed and allowed us to enter into a contract with Branstad and Carroll to help us determine site location for the rec center / community center, and not only site location, but to work with us too to determine what exactly this center might look like, what programs we want to offer out of the center. So we continue to work with them. It is now on a daily basis. This next week, we're going out to visit some like service providers, so some other communities that have recreation centers that are similar in size to Sandusky, but also are close to us in demographics as well. So we're going out to 4 sites next week to take a look at theirs. Their particular facilities, but then too to learn, what are some of the things they would have done over when they were building their particular sites, so that we can learn from some of their challenges and mistakes that they made, but also allow us to, take a look at that so that we don't run into that same predicament they ran into when they were building their facilities. So, like I said, we'll go out next week and start visiting there, and then we will start doing community stakeholder meetings that first week of May. And we plan on doing them for 4 days straight, as many as 3 or 4 meetings a day with different organizations, foundations, school groups, the schools in the area, but inviting them to come in and talk to us about what would they like to see in their rec center and community center and programs that they would like to see us offer. So we continue to have a timeline, a pretty aggressive timeline, with the hopes of having some renderings to you by the end of July of what the site might look, or excuse me, what the facility might look like, and obviously the site location as well. So that's the plan moving forward. It's a pretty aggressive plan, but with, especially with the staff at Branstetter and Carroll and Nancy in particular, who's their project lead, we will get there. There's no doubt in my mind. But we don't have as pretty as a website yet with, like Aaron showed you for the All Wheels Park, but we do have a site that you can access off of, and Jason's up now, thank you, Jason, off of the city's website. And if you go underneath recreation, and then it has rec center / community center. And right now, there's a little blurb on there in regards to the contract that we have with Branstetter and Carroll. And then also it allows you to access, and you have it in your packet, an actual hard copy of the facility and program survey. If you would kindly take some time to fill that out tonight, or you can access it. There's a QR code on it, or you can take it online off of the website. Yes, sir.
I have a quick question. What sites are you guys going to visit? You said you're going to visit 4 other sites to kind of get an idea of how you're going to...
The 4 other communities that we're visiting. So we're going to Norwalk, Fremont, Maslin, and Bowling Green.
Okay.
If you have any recommendations, I'm open to it as well.
No, I don't have none off the top of my head.
Okay.
Also, you said that starting in May, there's going to be like meetings or some sort?
Yes.
Like where will they be held and what time?
The majority of them will be held out at Mills at our current rec location. We will have one, the Erie Community Foundation is going to host one for us for all of the foundations in the area, and that'll be on Wednesday of that week.
Okay. And these meetings are for just regular people in the community to come?
Yeah, so some of them, they'll have invites only, and then we'll have at least 1, probably 2, where the general public can come as well.
You said 1 or 2 for the general public?
Yes.
Okay. Something else I was going to ask.
What time are those meetings, do you know?
We don't have time scheduled yet, Tandra. That's part of what we're working on tomorrow in our staff meeting.
As far as the link to the survey, can we get it to where it's easier to get to? Because the way you explained it confused me.
Okay.
Like when you were trying to bring it up, I was trying to see you do it, and you were trying to go to this, then you got to hit this, and then you got to go to this and drop down to this. After two of those, and I'm not doing it.
I'll actually text it to the group right now, so we have 2
I
hours.
was looking at, because a lot of different people from the community have asked me about this rec center, because they got wind of it. And I'm like, I can't give you any answers. You know, I missed the last meeting, so I don't know if you guys talked about it. And then, like I was just telling Tandra, I wanted to stick around because I just at least wanted to give some type of answer to the people that asked me or whatever. But also, I just wanted to ask those questions myself. And then I saw the survey, so I was thinking maybe I could just post the QR code to my Facebook.
Yes.
And we could just do that because a lot of people follow me on social media.
Yep.
But would that be a difficult process for them to hit the QR? Would it?
Nope,
Would
I
it
just
happen?
goes
Right to the survey.
That's what I was
Actually,
concerned.
Devin, I just did it while you were talking. I just did it, and it popped right up.
Yeah.
And went right in, it's very, very clear, texty, probably even better than the paper version we have, because I'm like you, the easier is better, and if people get frustrated, then they'll walk away and not fill it out.
There's a lot of
All
people
of your-
that are concerned, and I feel like they would want
Right.
to give their opinion or voice their concerns.
Where have we posted the QR
You
code?
got to go through all these loops and hoops. It's
Yeah.
like, forget it.
Absolutely. So Devin, I appreciate that feedback. And then we are in the process of putting posters together
Okay.
and strategically putting them around
Okay.
the community with the QR code on it. And then we will also have some cards, like when we're out at community events or even at these community stakeholder groups, we're going to have cards that we can pass out that have that QR code on it as well. So it'll be, hopefully, well, for sure at Mills, down at the Mylander Pavilion, but we're strategically trying to place them throughout the community so they can just go up and hit the QR code and
Yep.
have access right to the survey. But thank you for that feedback. I appreciate that.
And
No.
Chris? Okay, go
There's
ahead.
no definite site location right now.
There is not. That's part of the process that we're working on now.
You have any idea, like,
We have gone out to visit 5 sites currently, with 2 more maybe in the fold. And that,
sharing the locations? I'm just curious.
not at this time, but we will release it.
Okay.
If I might suggest, Chris, I know you're talking about, just like we're thinking about posters at key locations, whether it's a church, a school, or wherever else we can post them, because, people are so accustomed to using the QR code for so many things, using their phone. I can't remember the last time I did a survey with paper and pencil, which was great, so I did that today. But yeah, obviously, poster size, not big ones, but, normal size where it would be noticeable, and wherever we can put those out, especially with the stakeholders that you're going to have coming to the community meetings, that'll be giving you input. To be able to share that with them. And I don't mean a postcard. I mean a poster.
Yes,
But so that way they can
absolutely.
display it, whether that's in their break room, whether that's in their community center entryway, wherever they think it'll get the most exposure.
Absolutely.
Because I think obviously timing of that, you've got a pretty good timetable here with getting this done by June 5th. To follow up on that, my segue would be, what kind of timetable, and I'm not going to hold you to that because I realize it's very generic and I understand construction and bidding and all that, but a goal, like obviously the process is now moving with some steam. Well, what are we looking at? What would be the goal for this project to break ground and/or be completed?
I would say goal would be fall of 2024
Okay,
to break ground.
sure. No, again,
And again, Sean, I appreciate the question. A lot of it'll depend on
yeah,
the site location.
Sure.
And how much has to be done prior to. But
no, there's a
that
lot of
would
things
be
that
the
factor
goal.
into that. I think one of the things that probably, as Devin mentioned, is a common question besides what might it look like is, well, hey, when are they going to get started? Or when are they going to?
Absolutely.
How long will it take? Obviously with our projects, I've been asked these questions, similar things. Again, when, where, and how long?
Absolutely.
And I think that obviously we always give a disclaimer, those are best guesses, hopefuls, goals. They're not set in stone. There's a million things that factor into the timetable. But yeah, I think it gives people a general idea of where it's at and where it's going.
And we hope to have that, like I said, by the end of July, the site location picked out and some renderings to present
Okay,
to the public.
that'd be great.
And then just a shout out to the Sandusky City Schools. I had a conversation with Mr. Muratori today, so they are going to help us with distributing this survey as well through the parents. And
Yeah, through our social media and other ways. Just again,
Absolutely.
make it available to people, QR codes are so easy. Literally it probably takes somebody 3 or 4 minutes to fill out the survey and it's on your phone, boom, you do it. So no, we're glad to help. Again, the more information that you're given by the constituents of our community, the better off we're going to be. You're never going to be able to give everybody everything, but if you can hit those 4 or 5, whatever they are, top priorities,
absolutely.
it'll be a real success. Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
have a
Chris,
suggestion. Go ahead.
So for those that may be watching, and we keep using this language that some people may not be familiar with, QR code, can you explain what that is? Because I know, but there's people out there, you keep saying, the QR code, the QR code.
Right. No, that's a good point.
What you can, what is it?
Yeah, so it's a symbol that you would see. It can be posted on a postcard, on a piece of paper.
Yeah, maybe I can help. It's a square. It's a funny looking little square.
But it is.
That honestly, you just take the camera on your phone and hold it just like you're going to take a picture of it, but real quick, the website will pop up on your phone. You touch that, and it automatically takes you right to the survey. So again, it's a funny looking little square.
They weren't popular until the pandemic hit,
COVID,
and we
correct.
had menus all on
Right.
QR code.
Yeah.
And I'm not being funny when I say, and Tony, that's a great point, because not everybody uses them. Find somebody under the age of 20, honestly, whether it's your child, your grandson, whoever, because I guarantee you, every school-age kid knows exactly how to do this in under 4 seconds. And it really is that easy. But again, get out your phone, point the camera with the camera app. Let me make sure I'm clear on that. Your camera app, you'll see the little square, it'll pop up website, touch the link, and you're good. It's really just that.
John, Chris.
And everyone in this room, other than our 2 newest guests, should have the link sent to their phones. I already sent it.
They probably have it on.
They might have it already too.
They probably already took it on their
Link with me, so they.
They got it, that's right. And they probably can show us how to use it if we needed them to.
But Devin, you brought up some very good points, and I appreciate that, so thank you. Sherry, you had a comment.
I was just going to suggest maybe if there's enough room in the facility that you pick, to maybe give something to the teens, like a water slide park instead of just splash pads. Just a suggestion. We took the pool away. There is no beach. If you can't afford Cedar Point, you can't afford to drive to Huron. Something would be nice for that age group.
On that survey, you got a spot, but if
Yeah.
it's not on that list, you just write it.
Take the survey.
Yeah.
Have Dante take the survey.
Another reason to
Liz,
take the survey.
Liz, take the survey. Yep.
Any other questions in, as far as the rec center / community center?
All right, moving on.
All right, the Easter egg hunt was this past Saturday. Want to give a shout out to Sandusky Rotary for their sponsorship of this year's event and showing up with hiding all the eggs. We had over 3,000 eggs, 24 baskets put together by Annette, and I think Linda helped a little bit with that too. We had. She didn't? All right.
Sure.
Thanks, Annette.
Annette did it all.
For putting those together with Rotary helping and sponsoring it.
Actually, it was
We
Mr.
had
Coakley.
Sandusky Police, Sandusky Fire brought the Easter Bunny. And we had about 3,000 eggs and about, it seemed like 400 of those little bunnies. Those were pretty popular from the police station, or police department. Everything was done in about 4 or 5 minutes. And we had Sandusky House of Donuts brought their food truck out for this year's event. So they did a little coffee and donuts for people that wanted to purchase that. We look forward to next year. And like I said, it was over pretty quick. Oh, we did partner with the Merritt Museum this year. So the Merritt Museum was free for anybody that attended, that wanted to show up, was free with $1 carousel rides. And I got word that they had about 200 people come in and ride the carousel. And they had their own Easter bunny there to do some pictures with the kids.
2 Easter bunnies?
Well, they're friends. They're related.
Yes.
Yeah.
And just a shout out to Gentlemen's Club
Oh, yeah.
and Leading Ladies for stuffing the eggs.
Any questions on the Easter egg hunt? There's usually not a lot of questions on it.
Was not there.
Tandra, did you want to talk about following up on spring break camp?
Just real quick, spring break camp was amazing. We had over 110 kids registered. Probably 40% of those kids I've never, ever seen or met before. So that was good. And it went so smooth. 10 to 2 kids are a lot different than the 3:30 to 7 kids. So, they wake up and they come to have some fun. At 3:30 to 7, they've been in school all day and a lot is happening. So it's a different kind of kid. Same kid that I see at 10 to 2, it's not the same one I see after school. But I love them all anyway. And so we had average of 73 kids come each day. It was a 3-day camp. Right now, we're back into our spring out of school program, and we have right today, I think 80 kids signed up for the after school program. That's it.
Tanner, just a shout out too to the police and fire department.
Yep.
They did a great job with the kids.
Yep.
And I mean, not only did the kids have fun, but you could tell they were having fun as well. And they were looking forward to seeing them out there
Yep.
every day. So shout out to both the fire and police department.
Jason, I think that's yours.
All right, we are on to 2023 fishing tournaments. We have over a dozen tournaments coming this year for the ramp. I think we had 9 last year. It starts as early as this Sunday, the Lake Erie Bass Challenge goes all the way through a couple tournaments in April, tournament in May, 3 to 4 tournaments in June. And we get into September and October for some tournaments as well. I'm looking forward to a big season down there. One of those is the King Cat Challenge that we are partnering with Shores and Islands to, that's kind of the bigger one of the season. I think there's over 200 boats, 250 boats in that tournament. I have a request from the Midwest Crappie Alliance to bring their tournament here in 2024, and I always make sure to bring any of those tournaments that have a host fee associated with them to this board to approve the expenditure. Their tournament is anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 of a host fee. That's something that we're working with Shores and Islands to either offset or cover most of. So I was going to ask this recreation board for permission to spend up to at least $5,000 total for this tournament. I don't think it will be up to that $5,000, but as we work that sponsorship out to bring this, it's an October, late October. Crappie's not something you usually hear a lot of around here for tournaments, usually bass and walleye and perch. But they're making a push for this big tournament at the end of October. So it's a shoulder season tournament, brings like 250 boats and all the people that come with them.
It doesn't conflict with any current tournament we're offering either, right, Jason?
It does not.
Okay.
So, yeah, we would,
And in the past, I know we've had some of the tournaments that asked for a fee, a host fee, I guess, as you called it. How have we handled that in the past?
we just had we've had a vote and we budgeted into our 2024
Okay.
budget to have it in there as a
And
host fee.
really, you're hopeful that the host fee will be paid both possibly by the rec department and by Shores and Islands, kind of a shared.
Yeah, Shores and Islands came to us
Partnership.
with the Crappie Alliance saying that they wanted to have a tournament somewhere in this, Shores and Islands region. And we thought we were a good fit. We had them come in for a meeting. They went out even to the Erie County Fairgrounds because they might have a big expo part too that
Sure.
we're looking at.
Sure.
And they're looking for meeting space and hotels and that sort of thing.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
It's a pretty big tournament, so I was
Okay.
brought it to the board.
So do I have a motion to proceed with this, or?
I think we need to proceed. I would like to know a little more the level of commitment from Shores and Islands. I'm sure they'll be committed. I mean, this is what they do. But, and maybe, when would you know the fee?
Yeah, once we get back with them with Shores and Islands on how much they're able to cover on their
Gotcha.
grant, their destination grant that they have.
And when do you need to give the, I won't say the crappy people because that doesn't sound very good.
Crappie.
When do you need to give them a definitive answer, or sooner versus later, I'm sure?
They've been interested and eager ever since
Oh, yeah.
they visited.
Well, I think
but
obviously we
would
want to
say
get them locked in because it's a
probably
good thing.
Push them to May if we needed to, but
Yeah,
I think we table this. Can you get more information from Erie Shores and the fishing tournament?
yeah.
I mean, I think it's a great concept. I don't think it's an issue of yes or no. It's really a yes. It's more of how much and what our partner is willing to do versus.
I'll let them know that the rec board was supportive of bringing this tournament here. We just need to have that number
Yeah.
for them.
More information would
Yeah,
help.
yeah, absolutely. I think maybe if you need a motion from us supporting the concept, that's one thing versus a monetary amount.
Yeah, just either email it to us, Jason, or
Yep.
table it to next month.
Will do, no problem. And with that 2023, just wanted to also update the board that we do have a Movies by the Bay schedule that we're going to release soon, which should start with a May 6th showing of The Lion King at Lions Park in early May. And then we have a bunch of movies, and then we also have Party at the Pier that we should be releasing that schedule out pretty soon too with all the free concerts that we provide.
Chick's a little busy.
Any questions other than me giving you guys that update and that info? All right. Any questions on the tournament?
Anything else on the new business?
I just want to report that I received word that we received the Whiteman Weber Foundation grant for Safety Town for $10,000 a year for the next 5 years.
Good news.
Yay, thank you, Whiteman Weaver.
Okay. Open discussion. Tim, you got something back there?
Yeah, I'll go with it. So you can hear me on the speaker at home, whatever. Tim Schwanger, thanks, appreciate it. Couple of questions. I just did a quick search on the city's Facebook page, and I did not see the recreation survey on their site. So maybe I missed it, I'm not sure. It's probably on the recreation boards. Is it on the recreation?
No, I don't think
Facebook
we've
page?
pushed it out on social yet.
Not on social yet.
Okay,
That'd be through the city and Sandusky Rec. We'll be doing that.
okay. Bet's field play equipment, is that going to be comparable equipment that we have there now and the same type footprint?
So it's going to have a baseball theme to it, and it's going to be more, I'm not accountable, wrong word, but more accommodating to children of all ages, but those that have special needs as well.
Okay, so we'll be all ages, not just,
Absolutely,
okay.
It's bigger.
and it's definitely bigger.
Better.
On the All Wheels Park, as a former participant, I have now moved to observer. So so my concern is with shade structures. You know, we had to take that big tree down that provided shade for the whole park. So if we can make sure that the shade structures that are chosen actually provide shade, that would be phenomenal. Pergolas don't get it. The shade structure that we had set up at Central Park doesn't get it. That's the modern day looking thing that does not give any shade whatsoever. I don't know if you've ever been there, but it doesn't give any shade whatsoever. You guys, well, I'll go back to this one. On the boat launch facility, I'm just here to give you a little bit of background. In 2021, the docks for the summertime were in place by March 21st. And this year, they went in 19 days later than in 2021, which would have been, I think they got them in yesterday. So based on Sandusky's #1 news source, which is social media, there are some unhappy boaters and fishermen. A lot of the guys have been going to Huron, Catawba State Park, Dempsey's, and all three of those places are packed. So Sandusky has been losing out on a golden opportunity to host some of those fishermen that, again, would be, having lunch down at Sherry's or, doing stuff downtown. So I guess my point is, with the merger of Parks and Recreation with two other departments, communication and cooperation is a must. And there needs to be adjustments made yearly moving forward. And that adjustment would be, once the ice is gone out of the bay, at least the docks that are tied to the ramp must go in. The rest of them can be put in at their leisure, but the ones right at the ramp at ice out need to go on. And this happens every year. It's like a struggle to get the ramps in, and it's a fight to keep the ramps in late in the season. And there needs to be, this is one of them things where the answer is, well, it's on a schedule. Well, you can't schedule Mother Nature. It's just like the ice skating rink. You can't schedule Mother Nature. So when the time is available to do it, and I'm not saying they need to drop all important things that they're doing, but when there's an opportunity in March for good weather, those docks need to go in. Same way with the water. At the end of the year, the docks need to come out after the big walleye tournament, and they did a good job this year. They left them in, although we had to fight to keep them in. They did leave them in until after the fall brawl. And the same way with the water. The water needs to stay on unless there's a 5-day window of -10 degrees. And I think all it is, I'm not a water department employee, but if you have a 5-day below zero, get your little key out and you shut the water off. So
I appreciate the effort, letting me come down here. Now, listen, I got to tell you, I am not just a critic of the city of Sandusky. And to show you that, thank you, Mr. Whirling and the Parks Department for dragging the ball field at Huron Park. It looks beautiful. Now all I need is maybe a mound of that special mixture of dirt, maybe about this high, so that as I drive by and I see areas on the field are flooded, I can go in there and I can put a little bit of that special mixture on there that costs $100 an ounce. Spread it out. I got a tamper. It says ball field right on it. I tamp it, and it's good to go, because, you know, kids use that for practice, ball practice. There are still neighborhood pickup baseball games, believe it or not. So, you know, I'll take care of the park myself. Just give me the stuff to do it with. Thank you.
Thank you. Yep, thank you.
Just to address the concerns with the boat launch, 2 years ago, they did go in March. Last year, they went in April 7th, and we did keep them in all the way through November. The difference with our boat launch compared to other boat launches is that our boat launch is on Sandusky Bay, and we have to contract out because we don't have the equipment to put the actual equipment in, so the barge has to come over, who we contract with. I have emails of scheduling in March of this year, trying to get the docks in, and we had to postpone because of Mother Nature, because of the weather and not being able to get the barge over here. So it got pushed back a couple times. Yes, the docks did go in today. The water is scheduled by the water department, and I try to keep Steve with Sandusky Bait Company and Ron with the Shoreline Park concessions fully abreast of what the schedule is and when those things are supposed to be turned on. So that's something that we're working with them every year on. And the docks never go in early enough, and the docks never stay in late enough. It's just nature of the beast and the nature of having Mother Nature decide when those things happen. So we try to keep everybody abreast of everything that we have and the communications on that, and also trying to keep them in as long as possible, because as you can see with the dozen fishing tournaments this year, people do want to get in the water. We're just, I don't know how the other launches handle putting all their docks in, but we're kind of at the mercy of Sandusky Bay and Lake Erie on some of our dates that we do schedule. But any other questions on those things? So we can enjoy this.
When do you expect to put the QR code in the survey, either on our website or on your social media?
Tomorrow.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll get with Tom on that too, to make sure it's going out on, and it'll probably be a boosted post, I would guess, or just a plan for that as it gets boosted. But tell your friends, share, everyone here got the link, share the survey, and look forward to the process.
It's not a long survey for those.
Not very long.
Not very long at all. It's a nice range.
Yep.
Any other open discussion?
There are volunteer opportunities. We had 10 kids in our rec room for homework help. It's only 1 hour a day, 3:30 to 4:30. We could use a couple more. We got 2 consistent ladies that show up. Shout out to Miss Kathy, our newest volunteer for homework help, and Miss Mary. But we could use some more, and guys would be perfect. They need to know that men do homework help too.
Are you smarter than a 5th grader?
No.
is what we have to make sure we are.
Right.
Oh, and Kids Fest, Saturday, May 20th. Make sure that's on your calendar too. That's a big one.
Jason, do you want to mention 22nd?
Oh, drop-off day?
Dumpster day?
Yeah.
Yesterday?
We do have our drop-off day, April 22nd. It's been in the paper and social, but it'll be another crazy day down at the boat launch with all the things getting dropped off. City residents, no TVs? I want to say it's no TVs, yeah.
Electronics.
And Commissioner Waddington has his first cleanup this Saturday at the Tiffin Underpass at 9 o'clock, right?
Yeah, everybody wants to help out.
The Love Where You Live series.
As long as it doesn't rain, that's what I'm worried about. Like this. One question for you, Sean, where are we at with the swimming pool? I mean, we're getting it at the commission table.
I know that actually, we're supposed to break, last word I have is supposed to break physically break ground and start construction this summer. I know they're coming in and doing some things. There was a contingency, because one of the first things they have to do is take out some of the old asbestos stuff, whether that's tile or whatever. And I know that's upcoming here in the next few weeks. So it's moving, and I think people will see real, as I say, real progress made in June.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, anything else? Need a motion to adjourn.
I'm looking forward to adjourn.
Second.